Hello everyone. We have this question m plus n equals 2 and m times n equals 48, and we have to find out the value of m and n. So let's start the solution of this question. So first of all, we can write this as m plus m plus n equals 2 as equation 1, and this will become equation 2. And now this from equation 1, from this value we can write this value as m is equal to 2 minus n. Basically we have shifted this plus n on the side of the equation, so m equals 2 minus n. And now we will put m equal to 2 minus n in equation 2. So according to equation 2 we have m times n equals 48, and now we will put the value of m over here, which is 2 minus n. So let's put m equal to 2 minus n times n, which is equal to 48. And now we will multiply this in with this 2 and then with this n. So this will become 2 times n minus n squared, which is equal to 48. And now in the next step we will shift these two values on right side of the equation. So our this equation will become n squared, because when we shift this minus n squared on other side, so this will become positive n squared. And then this value 2 times n will become negative 2 times n, which is and then this plus 48, and the equation will become equals 0. So now in the next step we have this equation n squared minus 2 times n plus 48, which is equal to 0. And this is basically a quadratic equation, so we will use a quadratic formula to solve this equation. So according to quadratic formula, and now here in this equation we have a equal to 1, b equal to minus 2, and c equal to 48, like this. And now we will put these values in this quadratic formula. So this minus and b equal to minus 2 plus minus square root of minus 2 squared, because b equal to minus 2, and then minus 4 times 1, because a equal to 1 and c equal to 48, divided by 2a, so a equal to 1. And now this minus and minus will become plus, because these are in multiply. Plus minus square root of this minus 2 squared will become 4, and this 4 times 1 times 48 equals 192. And now in the next step, 4 minus 192 equals minus 188. So the equation will become n equal to 2 plus minus square root of minus 188 divided by 2. And now we can write this minus 188 as 2 squared times 47 times minus 1. And now we can after taking square on this square root on this, so this 2 will come out of the square root, so this will become 2 plus minus 2, and square root of this 47 minus 1. And as we know, this minus 1, which is under the square root, so this is basically equal to iota, so this will come out of the root in form of iota. So our equation will become 2 into 1 plus iota plus minus iota times square root 47 divided by 2. So basically we have taken 2 common from here, and now in the next step this 2 will cancel this 2, so our equation will become n equal to 1 plus minus iota times square root of 47. And now we will write these values separately. So n equal to 1 plus iota times square root of 47, and similarly this value in minus. So now we have two values of n, and now in next step, as we know that m is equal to 2 minus n, and now we will put the value of n one by one. So when we have the value of n equals 1 plus iota times square root of 47, so now we will put this value of n in this equation. So our this equation will become 2 minus value of n, which is 1 plus iota times square root of 47. And now in the next step, this 2 minus 1 and this plus will become minus because of this minus. So then in the next step, this 2 minus 1 equals 1 minus iota times square root of 47. So this is the value of m, and now we have the values of m and n. So we call it m1 n1, which is basically equals 1 minus iota times under root 47 and 1 plus iota under root 47. And now when we have n equals 1 minus iota times square root of 47, so we will put this value in this equation. So our this equation will become m equals to 2 minus value of n, so this value. And now in the next step, this 2 minus 1 and this minus will multiply with this minus, so it will become plus. So overall this value will become 2 minus 1 equals 1, and then this plus other times square root of 47. And now we have values of m and n, which we call m2 n2, which is equal to 1 plus iota times square root of 47 and 1 minus iota times square root of 47. So these are the values of m and n, basically two values we have. And now let's verify these values. So we have these equation, and now we will put the values of m and n. So m plus n equals 2, and now we will put the values of m and n, which is the values, one value is in negative and one in positive. So now this positive and negative will cancel each other. So this minus 1 plus this plus 1, basically this plus 1 and this plus 1 will become 2, which is equal to 2. So it means this value is verified. And now for this equation, m times n equal to 48. So we will put the values of m and n. So after putting these values, now according to algebraic identity, this is basically a minus b into a plus b. So this will become a squared minus b squared. So therefore 1 is squared equal to 1. So this will become 1, and then minus, and this value iota squared times 47, because this square will cancel this square root. So now in the next step, 1 plus 47, because this iota squared is basically minus 1. So when we put minus 1 over here and this minus, so this minus and this minus 1 will multiply, which will change the sign to positive, and then this 1 when multiply with this 47, so it is equal to 47. So 1 plus 47, which is equal to 48. So 48 equals 48. Again, it is verified. So it means these are the values of m and n, and, which is verified. And this is the solution of this question. I hope you will have understand the solution of this question. Moreover, if you have any kind of question regarding the solution, so you can also discuss in comment section. Thank you for watching. Goodbye and take care.